Hey, it's Adam from Resolution Audio Video in Brooklyn, and we have a very interesting, very rare piece of hi-fi history right here. This might be one of the craziest preamplifiers that we've come across in our 20 plus years of buying, selling, collecting hi-fi equipment. It's the Counterpoint SA11 ISO linear preamplifier. This is not an amplifier, it's a preamplifier, and it's crazy. I could barely lift it. So we're going to go through some of the details of this preamplifier that you've probably never seen before. And I'll tell you this, I'm not going to get everything right because the circuit design of this preamplifier is nutso. So I'm going to be reading off of some paper, and also in the comments you can shred me to pieces about what I got wrong, but I know a lot about hi-fi, but this is just a design that I've never seen before in my life. And so yeah, we're gonna dig into it. Did I mention that this tube preamplifier has 18 tubes inside of it? Yeah, 18. So according to the internet, this was produced somewhere around 1984. Let's just look at some of the simple functions on here on the front. We are missing two knobs here, but whatever. So we have the system gain, which, duh, is the volume. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Balance, left and right, no problem. Got the remote IR sensor here. We have system status, which is standby, initializing, and ready. And this thing's like a rocket ship waiting to take off. It's my understanding that the heaters are always on if this is plugged in. But once you start powering this up, I'm sure that there's a serious initiation step-by-step in terms of the preamplifier powering on. Obviously there's mute and operate here with two cool lights, output level, different gain levels, which I would assume probably sets the base level for the attenuators here. And actually what I just noticed here is there's LEDs inside these volume knobs and balance knobs here. That's really cool. You got your mono and stereo mode. Here's another gain mode, which, interesting. I don't know if that's input gain or output gain. Maybe you can tell me in the comments, because obviously we have the output gain adjustments here, so I'm not sure what this one does. Polarity, we understand what that is. Program source, got all the sources here, which is cool. I always like when they have a little separate light that lights up next to the input. That just looks cool and it's fun when you're operating it. Looks like two tape monitors here. The knob feel on this, I love these switches. It's great. So good. Just love it. Volume knob, yeah, it's okay. Knob feel on that's like, I don't know. I'll rate that a 3, but the knob feel on these is definitely like a 9. Yeah, let's look at the top. Here's our top view. Really like this old school labeling here, reminding you that you have the ISO linear control amplifier. Okay, we also have our warnings, which is this thing is freaking hot and there's a lot of freaking high voltage in here, so don't mess with it. And once we get the lid off, you'll see what we're talking about. So we have these gain trims here that you can adjust through the top plate here. See section 7, internal adjustments of owner's manual for instructions regarding these trimmer controls. I couldn't find an instruction manual online, but it's my understanding is that when you do retube this, there are certain adjustments that need to be made to adjust for the new tubes. Let's turn this around and look at the back, shall we? What are we looking at here on the back? Good question. I don't know. Well, let's try and figure it out. What I do know, and we'll see once we open this up, it's a dual mono design. So what you'll see is obviously the outputs for channel B or left channel are all the way on one side. Right outputs are on the other side. Looks like there's all sorts of outputs. There is high pass out, passive out. Passive probably just uses the volume control and maybe Doesn't go through the tube stage. I don't know. LP out, low pass out. That's probably for subwoofers. Direct out. I'm assuming direct out is what you're going to use for plugging into your amplifier, but I'm not 100% sure. And the buffered output is a good question too. Maybe it just goes through another tube stage. We got tape 1, and it's got a attenuator knob here. So I'm assuming that you can attenuate the inputs for your different sources. It's got phono 1, we'll see. I don't think there's a phono stage in here. External processor and CD filters. Yeah, I guess you could put this through an equalizer, CD filter. Back in the day, I suppose you could have put another tube buffer in line with your CD player. External drive, no clue. Maybe you can tell me in the comments. Yeah, it's pretty cool back panel here. And now the moment you've been waiting for. Let's take the top off. Okay, you ready for the big reveal? We're going to take the top off. I do believe my team did plug this in and it wasn't functional. So inside, I think we might see some maybe funky repair work, but let's see. Ready? Okay, let's talk about the obvious things first that we see upon first opening this piece of equipment. There is the 18 vacuum tubes. That's the first thing that pops out. Also, what pops out is this written, extremely large, caution, extremely high voltages. Be absolutely certain that this device is disconnected from AC wall outlet before servicing or replacing tubes. Now, I don't know if their lawyers told them to write that large with this many warning signs, or if somebody got blown through a wall or what, or both, but yeah, I don't think I've seen a warning that large. So what's under here are 2 transformers, 1 for each channel, because this is a fully dual mono preamplifier. The next thing that we see here, which is great design, is that we have the attenuators, the volume attenuator and balance control all the way at the back of the preamplifier. Companies do this to create the shortest signal path possible. If the volume control volume pots are at the front, then wires have to be run all the way to the back, and those lines can pick up noise. So putting them all the way at the back is a benefit. These attenuators also are really nice. They are Tokyo Ko-on. I've never heard of them, but they look very substantial. We also see some wonder caps in there for possibly the coupling capacitors. There's a bunch of relays. Also, you'll see here, which is very cool, are 2 attenuators that turn the volume control shaft, which is attached to the volume control, and the balance control all the way in the back. Obviously, due to age and heat, it seems as though that these couplings have cracked and the customer has kind of recoupled them with some solder or some wire here. So just as we had thought, back here you can see some volume pots. So these were, in fact, input attenuators knobs on the back of this unit. Additionally, we see all these relays here. So the inputs and outputs are controlled via relay. Again, keeping the signal path as short as possible. Okay, this is the time where I'm going to get out my piece of paper, because there's just too much to know what's going on in here off the top of my head. So as we discussed, this is a dual mono design. According to what I could find online, there's 6 regulated high voltage supplies, 3 per channel, and double tube regulation from 800 volts down to 430 volts. It's my understanding also that the only signal tubes in the signal path are actually 6SN7 tubes. And I believe it's 2 per channel. So 4 in total. And then all the rest of the tubes in here offer some type of rectification. So there's 4 5R4GB tube rectifiers. So there's 4 5R4GB tube rectifiers that are acting as voltage doublers. And it seems as though that they are operating in pairs. According to whatever we can find online, it says this enhances reliability and tube life. The first stage of the 6SN7s are twin triodes with a cathode coupled topology for high linearity and isolation. And then the second stage of the 6SN7s have Zener stabilized MOSFET constant current source. So in addition to tube rectification, there's tube regulation, and it looks like there are 3 tubes per channel that are regulating the high voltage supplies, 60, 80 WAs, 6 GC5s, 6 JC6As, and 56 51s. According to them, with all this massive amount of regulation, it gives this preamplifier massive headroom, no crosstalk between gain stages, no need for capacitive decoupling, and just clean, 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 clean power. So thanks for following along and letting me show you the inside of this crazy beast of a preamplifier. I most certainly did not get all the facts right, so feel free and make some comments in the comments section down below. But more importantly, like and subscribe. We've been doing this for over 20 years. We're in Red Hook, Brooklyn. I have a warehouse that's 7,500 square feet full of vintage hi-fi equipment, such as this, as well as a beautiful listening room full of some of the best brands out there: Nagra, DeVore Fidelity, Accuphase, Shindo, Liebin, Bowers & Wilkins, Rockport, Transparent Audio, DCS, on and on and on and more. So yeah, we have some of the most unique stuff going on here. We dabble in a little bit of everything and we love it. So join along, like and subscribe. Peace and love.